Good afternoon once again. Thank you all for joining the webinar today. The topic for today's session is uLaw with LawPay integration. And we're going to see how payment integration with LawPay happens and how you are as a client and how your clients in turn are going to be benefited by using a payment integration platform like LawPay. I'm sure a few of you might have attended this webinar with us earlier. Maybe there was one end of last year, or I think same time last year, in fact, September 2021. So I'm not sure if all of you here attended, but today's webinar is going to be slightly different. We're going to add a new topic to LawPay called Quickbill. We are going to see how Quickbill feature with LawPay works while using uLaw as well. I also would like to mention here that today's demo or webinar is going to be only about 45 minutes long, as we have a little commitment today after 2:45, another webinar that we have to go for. And I request you all to stay attentive and provide all your questions on chat so that I can take it by end of the session, maybe around 2:40, 2:35, 2:40. I'm not going to typically rush into it because I have only 45 minutes, but I'm going to make sure that I show you all that we see here on agenda, plus the Quickbill feature. I would like to start off with saying that today's session is not accredited to any CPD credits. Don't want to disappoint you all, but we do have a CPD webinar coming up next week, which is on Law Society bookkeeping compliance. So I request all of you to stay here with me for next 45 minutes and make the best use of understanding payment integration with LawPay and Quickbill introduction. Even though it's not a CPD, it's definitely something that's going to benefit you for today's, payment collection that takes place using the payment integration for LawPay and uLaw. All right, so let's do a little bit of talking over the agenda, and I'll try to show you uLaw, how things work on the platform as well, simultaneously as we proceed using the slides here, so that, you're kind of able to relate to what we're talking here and what you're able to see on the platform as well. So when it comes to collecting payments from your clients, when it comes to a point where invoices are generated and it's time for them to make a payment, the method of payment is always a question, whether you accept cards or you are comfortable getting the money into your trust as cash, deposited the very next day within 24 hours as per the Law Society rules, or whether you're getting an email transfer or an in-track transfer into your general account, or maybe a check, and sometimes the check can, go invalid, could go, it can be bouncing, or it could be something that you've forgotten and it's, you've not deposited the check, or sometimes even reconciling checks take a little bit of time. So when it comes to so many methods of payments that's available in front of you in today's world, but typically some of them are traditional, some of them are, all-time favorite. But however, with the payment collection apps, using various payment integration portals, and, could be several that we talk about with uLaw, but today we're concentrating or we are focusing rather on LawPay, which is one of the most, prestigious and also at the same time loved by everyone using LawPay. It's one of the most known third-party gateway providers for payment collection. We are going to be focusing on LawPay. We are going to be seeing how uLaw and LawPay and how the integration works, how the cash flow between the two works. How do we collect the money using the credit card, and how is it recorded in the program? And, we're going to see all those simple workflow between the two programs. And while doing so, we're going to consider various pros and cons of, using a payment collection portal like LawPay. Mostly pros, but, we're also going to see how things are going to benefit you and your customer, like I already mentioned, how timely and effortless, collection happens, the payment collection happens, and how faster and convenient it can be dealt with. And at the same time, how cost effective, it's going to be helpful. Someone is saying that you're not able to hear anything. Can one of you please comment saying you're able to hear me? I hope you're able to hear me. Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Viewer number 9, I'm not sure. I request you to probably disconnect your computer audio and join using the phone audio here. I'm entering the phone number for you. It's a 647 local number. You can also dial in using the phone, and there's a meeting ID. Please do use that. I'm sure if you're not able to hear me, you're not able to hear me say this as well, but I've entered the details on the chat. Okay. Just helping a little friend here join. Thank you. All right. So when I was talking about the benefits of using LawPay or payment collection, integrated payments using any solution for that reason, but like I said, today's primary focus is on LawPay. So what are the reasons that could encourage you to go with a program or a solution, payment integrated solution like LawPay? If you are very keen on saving time, making things faster, look more professional, and at the same time, avoid human errors with, sending your client an invoice and having them paid few cents more or less, especially into trust. Less is fine, but sometimes some clients tend to pay more while they think they're rounding off their number or something like that. But I think, ultimately it boils down to being convenient over cost effective. Yes, it is a cost effective. When you ask me, Gayatri, they're charging a few dollars. They're charging for each payment that's taken out or processed rather using credit card. But how do you call it cost effective? Because ultimately, like I said, it's convenience. It's definitely faster. You save a lot of time. So saving your time is more precious, and you're ultimately saving money because your time spent on collecting payment is going to be reduced while you're using a platform like LawPay. And most importantly, anytime, anywhere you can access it, your clients can access it. The link is readily available on the invoices or the retainer receipts you send them. And all credit cards being accepted, you don't have to keep waiting for checks. You don't have to keep waiting when the check is mailed to you. What if it gets lost in the mail? Or what if the time is already probably ticking, and you would have by then processed the payment in no time using the link provided by LawPay, and your invoice balance and trust accounts, everything is being managed at the same time, and you're going to collect the money either into trust or general respectively, and you're assured that you're getting paid end of the day. And when you have money in trust, or when the client pays you into trust and the invoice is raised, the next step that we all enjoy doing rather is moving the money from trust to general and making it yours. So why wait for that tiny piece of paper that has to be deposited either through mobile check deposit or going to your branch or bank? And then, there's a whole lot of, time involved, your effort, and at the same time, it's not faster as you think it is while having an integrated payment solution do its work. So if you have me summarize this slide for you all, I think being faster and convenient to use is top, and time and effort being definitely saved, and in turn being cost effective. Like I said, your time spent is also money involved here. So you're saving your time by doing things online, and you're in turn saving the money or cost that's involved in here. And lastly, you're not worried about losing checks or waiting for checks, and sometimes even human errors, like I mentioned. And last but not the least, reconciling those checks or reconciling and depositing the cash you've received into the bank the very same day or very next day. And a whole bunch of these are definitely considered as pros, which is going to be a big, I think, a gateway for you all to think about having maybe, your uLaw account integrated with a solution like LawPay. If you are not a current user of uLaw, I would strongly recommend you all to go into this platform or this login page, that is lawpay.com login, or we also have the other one that's going to be helpful for you to just simply go into LawPay and uLaw partnered login. And you can definitely register yourself by creating an account, and then you can you'll have the team contacting you with all the details. We do have a separate link that I would be sharing with you on the chat on how to register for the LawPay and uLaw. So please do get on the link to register. Right now they're having a promotion that's going on till 31st of October, which is about $150 credit is given into your account. That being said, it's almost about, maybe around 6 to 7 months of free account, because if you're having both trust and general, it's about, the pricing plan is about $20. And if you're having about, only general account, you're not having any, trust account, then your pricing is different. So you do have custom pricing. So the package is $20 for no contract monthly billing. And there's also a $15 if you're only using a general account. So you can contact them for custom pricing. And on top of that, you do have the transactional charges, but those are going to be depending upon the number of transactions you're going to be making a month. So that's an additional cost, and it goes as your office expenses. So some people charge it to client as processing fee, as a disbursement, but some add it as only office expenses. So that is going to be definitely helpful. Like I said, make the best use of the offer that's available for the first till the 31st of October rather. And you are going to be benefited by getting $150 credit. That's almost, even if you go for the highest package, which is $20 per month, you're still saving for about 7 to 8 months of the billing cost that's going to be covered in with the $150 credit that you're going to be getting using the offer for uLaw and LawPay. All right, so quickly getting back, if you're a current user, we're going to see how it's going to be helpful for you and how you would have initiated a uLaw account and LawPay, how it's integrated and how the workflow happens. That's what we're going to see in the next couple of slides. Before I proceed, I'm going to be starting off saying that unlike many other platforms or solutions, LawPay has brought up an easier way to add your details into uLaw and quickly integrate both the systems. So you don't have to worry about fetching the terminal IDs and the secret keys, but they have brought in the system where you only have to create an account with them, and the username and the password has to be entered in uLaw so that you can easily access the Quickbill options and other transactions by integrating both the systems. I'm going to be showing you that right after this slide, but just to understand that LawPay, like every other payment integrated solution, does come up with a separate terminal ID for both trust account and general accounts. And depending upon your need, depending upon your requirements, you could go in for both, which is the standard plan that we saw, or you can go in for just the general account too. Depends upon your requirement again. And this is going to be helpful because whether you're going to be receiving the money into trust or general respectively, it is not going to be confusing to your clients as well as to you. Your client, first of all, on the other hand, is not even going to know what's the terminal ID that they're using, but then you will be entering the respective terminal ID, and when you click on the retainer, the form that gets generated is linked to the terminal ID for trust, and when you click on client payment, the invoice that gets generated and the amount due will automatically get linked to your general account, which is where they're going to be paying into. So the workflow is clearly mentioned here. It's going to be automatically deposited into the respective bank account for the invoice or the retainer form that you're generating, and you're able to record the transactions as they happen, and you're going to ensure the funds are being captured into the respective accounts, and at the same time your guaranteed payments for the invoices and the retainer or the trust request forms are going to be into the respective bank accounts. So ultimately, it all depends on how you're managing the invoices and the retainer letters in order to send it out to the client and have them pay into the respective accounts. So having a separate terminal ID is definitely a boon here because you get to use both, and of course it's coming with a cost that's just $5 more for two accounts. And why not? But if you're someone who doesn't use trust at all, then I don't think it's even required to have a standard plan, and you can go with just the general account plan. So it completely depends on what is your requirement. All right, now just quickly stepping into payment integration plus uLaw setup, which is a one-time setup, which is something that you only have to initially do but not keep repeating it. That's just for you to enter the terminal IDs and the secret keys. That's how previously it was working. But like I said, recently now, LawPay has come up with a plan where you just have to go into your uLaw account and let's say you're in the profile settings. So this is exactly where your one-time setup takes place. Under settings here on the top, so let's assume you're already logged into uLaw account. Right on the top where you see your name and help and sign out, in between all you see settings. And under settings, you have accounts, which is a tab where you get to enter all your, your payment collection details. And right now, let's assume my payment collection is in none. And I go back to contacts and come back to settings. Just, want to refresh the program once. When I come back to settings, I do see that my payment collection is set to none, which I'm going to be slowly moving out to LawPay test and then save it. The moment I save it, I have the terminal IDs already come up, but in your case, it will show up a landing page for LawPay, and you're going to enter the username and password. And once you enter the username and password, these two fields that shows trust terminal ID and general terminal ID, and the trust secret key and the general secret key are going to show up automatically. So remember, all that you have to do for a one-time setup is go to settings and enter the LawPay. I'm using test, but you have to, in a real account, be using LawPay. And when you click LawPay and save it, or the moment you click LawPay, there's going to be a page that pops up saying LawPay sign in, which is your username and password that you've probably been emailed as soon as you created an account or signed up with LawPay. Use those credentials, log in, and these terminal IDs and secret keys are going to show up automatically. So remember, once they are entered here, it means that the LawPay has been tested, and the LawPay has been is going to be working with your program rather. Right now, for you to test or to check, verify whether LawPay is working and how does it work rather, you can go into any contacts. There are a few important things for you to remember, that when you have a client, make sure that you're adding the client's email ID in this case, because you want them not just to be sending the invoices manually with a link, but with the new feature for Quickbill, you're also able to, LawPay is able to directly send them an invoice with the details so that they can pay using the Quickbill options. So right now, let's assume I want to enter my email address here and show you how it works. And you can see that all the details of the Quickbill that you're generating is going to be emailed to the client directly. So assuming that my email ID is entered here, in this place, you're going to be entering your client's email ID. And there are a couple of times where your requirement for a invoice sent and the money needs to be collected into the general account, or a retainer is created and the money is sent into the trust account. Both of these scenarios that I'm going to show you right now is, let's click on deposit in trust. Before I do a regular way of doing it, let's say I'm sending them a retainer letter. You go into compliance, you go into retainer letter for a flat rate. I want a $1,000 retainer. You can also download a trust request form eventually when you want them to replenish some more funds into your client's account, from your client's account into your general account or trust account. You can definitely generate a trust request form, and the amount is going to be going into your trust account directly. So the retainer letter typically has a link at the bottom where the client can click on the link and start entering their information, and you can have that recorded in a timely manner. So right now, let's say your client clicked on the link, and this is how they are entering their card information. So let's say the card name was Adrian Mike, and then the CVV, and then the expiry. let's assume they're processing the payment. The moment they process the payment, yes, of course, this is a test account. So the moment they process the payment, you would see them under the Quickbill. You will understand. Right now, I have the last one, which was for Very Richard, but you can also send your client a Quickbill and have them pay using the Quickbill option, and also at the same time verify what are the Quickbills that you're going to be, what are the Quickbills that are seen here, right? So let's assume that I have a client who has, for whom I want to send out an invoice, for which I'm just simply clicking on Add New Event, and I'm clicking on a, let's say, client meeting here, and it was a flat rate, and the flat rate of the event was $200. I'm saving it. I already have $291 that the client owes me. I'm completing this invoice. When I preview it, you're not going to be seeing it under the Quickbill, because preview is only for your internal purposes. So preview is for you to see what are the dockets that you're going to be invoicing your client, something from the previous month and something from the current month. And while you're doing a preview, if you go to Quickbill, you're not seeing anything here after the 12th of March. But however, if you go into uLaw now and complete the invoice, and you're going to see that the Quickbill is going to have your current invoice details. And while using Quickbill, you're able to see that the client owes you so much amount, whether the client has viewed the invoice, whether the client has made a payment on it, and etc. So you're basically able to see everything under Quickbill option. And when the client pays you, obviously they can click here to pay using the balance using the credit card, and they can make the payment here. Now, because I added the email ID, I'm now able to also access, your client is getting this Quickbill, and there's a payment receipt as well upon the invoice that you raised, and you would be able to, your client rather would be able to access the invoice either using the email they have received from Quickbill, or from LawPay for Quickbill, or they could just use the invoice you have sent them, and they can pay using the simple link that they generally access. Both ways, you can have the link recorded here and the details recorded here, and you'll be able to see all the details show up under the Quickbills. I'm not sure whether mine is connected. Since I'm in a test mode, I'm not sure if this is going to be here, but you can definitely send the client an email from here and have them deposit the respective account amount into the respective accounts, which is your trust and the general. So remember, there are two ways. You could either your client could either use the link that's available here and make the balance payment, or they can use the Quickbill that you're sending out from Quickbill here and also make the balance payment. While sending the Quickbill, you're able to see what are the transactions, whether this client has viewed it, whether the client, you need to resend them the invoice, or whether you need to mark it as paid, or you need to edit and resend. You can edit the Quickbill too and send it back to them. So there are definitely different things that you can do by using a Quickbill. It's not just sending it. Best part is you can also see whether the client has viewed it and how long it has been pending. The aging report and everything is right here on the top for you. And if you obviously want to resend them as a reminder, as a friendly reminder, you can also resend the invoice to them, and they will obviously get it. Or if you want to edit and give them a discount for, let's say, $10 or $20, and then you want to send them a revised invoice for $100, you can do that as well. or maybe if you want to completely mark it as paid once they've made the payment, you can mark it as paid too. So both ways, whether your client rather is using the link that is available at the bottom of an invoice or at the bottom of the retainer letter that we generated here, you are going to see that depending upon whether it's trust or general, it will go into the respective accounts. All right. So if you see the reference number here, closely watch it. When I clicked on trust, it showed me a different reference number. And when I clicked on general, it's showing me a different reference number with, the amount going into the trust and general respectively, because when you raise an invoice, it goes into your general account and your client can make sure to process the payment into the general account directly. And besides that, just jumping back into the payment integration setup here. So it's a one-time setup, making sure that your login password is provided to you. Enter that from the settings, and uLaw will prompt you to go ahead and make a setup, confirm your setup rather. And once you're done with that, you could start collecting either retainers or payments into your trust and general respectively. And you will also see the payment collection. If the client is having time and he or she is going to give you the credit card directly, you can also enter the credit card information yourself by simply clicking on payment collection here at the bottom and validate all fields. And it again takes you to the same payment collection trust payment. On the top you see, because you clicked on retainer, it says trust payment here. So you could also do it that way. So you save some time and, of course, preventing errors, because the transaction happens automatically here, and there are no different amounts that can be entered as it is getting generated from the invoice directly. And if the invoice has any outstanding balance, like I already showed you, the link to make the payment directly hits your general account, and you just need to record the confirmation, which will be emailed to you directly from LawPay. Moving on to one of the most important slides of today's webinar, I would say, is what are the benefits of using an integrated payment processing software. Of course, we saw a crux of pros. We saw what are the pros of using it. Of course, that includes benefits, but in a little more elaborate manner on seeing how what is efficient and what is flexibility and how is it being secured and cost effective. So you're definitely saving more time by letting the solution do the work for you, and in turn saving more cost and overall cost rather, and ensuring everything is secured here as the payment collection solutions are encrypted, and you are definitely going to be benefiting out of the secured system that is being in use, and at the same time efficient and flexible for you to work from anywhere and collect a payment from anywhere in the world, and let the program integrate to collect the payment and do the workflow at the back end while you are doing something else for your own work, and you don't have to sit doing the reconciliation of the payments that you have collected and reconciling the checks on time and then depositing the money into your respective bank accounts, and definitely going to be more easier and flexible for you, less hassle, and also makes it all look more professional, in turn being efficient. So it's super easy. Definitely it's going to be a lot simpler, and I think benefiting the most of all is your clients here, because you sending them back-to-back emails of invoices or sometimes reminders. This link, is going to be right in front of them whenever they open the invoice at the bottom or when they open a Quickbill email. It definitely helps them to take an action quite instantly, and in turn, you are definitely benefited because instantly you have the money in your account, and which is definitely going to save you time from making those multiple follow-ups. So the payment workflow, that's about the benefits. I think they're pretty extensive for you all to choose from or consider using LawPay, because end of the day, we are all in the modern world. We all don't want to go back into the bank in and out every day or deposit the checks and the money. We all want to adapt to today's world. Make sure that we are at the par of this generation. Of course, whether we're all in, actually this generation or we're all the previous generation trying to ace up to this generation world, it's better to have the knowledge and at the same time the functionality of how everything works. So if I were you, I would just grab the opportunity to utilize that $150 credit that LawPay is currently offering all uLaw customers registering before 31st of October. Don't wait until 31st of October. I would say just try and get started. And if you need any help for us to book you a session with them or put you in touch with them, both Stephanie and I are available here on chat for you. Please do send a chat, and we can chat. Just put in your name and say you're interested, or your email ID and you're interested. Steph and I can pick it up and send you and LawPay email introducing both, and you can take it from there. So don't wait. I would say it's worth giving it a try, especially when deals are happening. So try and utilize the opportunity, and I'm sure you are going to be benefiting out of how how seamlessly things are working, and how uLaw is also working to make it work for you rather, right? So it's definitely simple. Either you are accessing it from the program or you're accessing it from the Quickbill itself directly. Your payment collection gets done immediately, and you're going to see that as and when you click the payment collection button, your payment workflow is pretty simple. The payment collection hits the terminal IDs respectively for the trust or general, as you see here on the middle of the screenshot, and the payment automatically gets collected into the respective bank account, and a receipt is sent to your client, and you get a receipt of collection too. So this way you are able to see the payment workflow, and it's pretty simple and straightforward, especially when the links are provided under your invoices or your retainer letters. There's one more additional feature that uLaw currently has, is a trust request form. When you are in need of more trust funds, you just have to simply go to, there are two places you're able to see this, one under document generation, under retainer letter, under trust request. Of course, you're in the matter, and the document generation under matter, retainer letter, and trust request form. You tell them you need another $1,000 and it's a trust request, and download it. And this page especially has the trust request form with a link where they can click on the link to make the balance payment of the $1,000, and it will be automatically seen in your trust account, because this is a trust payment since this is a trust request form. There's no confusion here. this clear bifurcation of trust and general, funds moving into trust and general. Even if I would be doing it myself, or if you would be doing it yourself, let's put it this way, if we are trying to do it ourselves, it's going to be not this effortless and efficient, while a program like LawPay and uLaw together does what you and your client has to do. And we are going to be much more benefited of all. And it's going to be definitely seamless while you're going to be having to see everything in one place, especially sending them an invoice and having them make the payment using the credit card, make your client pay faster, in fact, and urge them to use this option, because you're sending them an invoice and it's very clearly highlighted at the bottom with pay using the credit card, right? So this is definitely much simpler, and it does a lot of changes and make sure that you're going to be altogether benefited from this feature. So I'd like to take a pause here and see if you all have any questions. As I mentioned, we are there at end of the seminar, and probably I'll use the next 5 minutes for any questions from you all. And I have my teammate entering all the links and details here for you on the chat window as well. One of the top links are going to be the LawPay links. Please make sure you're able to click on the LawPay uLaw partner. You're seeing this on my screen now. I just went and clicked on it, and I'm here in this uLaw and LawPay partnership. You just have to schedule a demo with them, and you can enter your details and request a date, and they're going to be doing the demo for you. And if you want to view the pricing, right beside that you have the pricing, and it's pretty straightforward. Otherwise, under features, you have pricing here as well. We already saw here their custom pricing too. You can reach out to them while you're doing the demo, and they'll be more than happy to assist you. But make sure you're registering from this link that is there on the chat window for you, where you're using the LawPay and uLaw link, and register for the trial, or the demo rather. And you have all the other details of other links that we wanted to share with you. I know many of you are a regular webinar attendees. I request all of you to follow us on our social media platforms. That includes YouTube channel, Twitter, Instagram. We have links for all. You're just going to simply click on the link and follow us. What is the benefit of you following us for yourself? You're definitely going to get a lot of interesting content from uLaw, all new updates of all new features, how it works, and there are definitely many videos that we keep posting that are helpful across all the practices, and of course Instagram for any new updates that we have in regards to our program. And there are more links that we've added here on different programs that we have in uLaw. If you want to refer a friend, if you want to add a Google Chrome extension, and definitely more tips on how to use uLaw better. That's going to take you to this page under the YouTube channel, and it's going to show you how to get help in uLaw and how uLaw answers work. So this is a nice video, about 3 minutes long. I encourage all of you to see that video. And for any LawPay related questions, importantly, I know today's webinar was slightly shorter than the usual. I have only time till 2:45 today, but what I would like to tell you all is, if you have any further questions, today's webinar the idea was to introduce LawPay and Quickbill feature to you all. But if you are a current user of LawPay and you have further questions, or if you would like to use LawPay and you want to know how to register or how to use LawPay, how to get in touch with the LawPay, people, please do email us. There's an email ID at the bottom of the chat that my colleague Steph has shared. They support@uLawPractice.com. Please do reach out to us for any questions. In fact, today's topic is on LawPay and uLaw, but any other questions also you can reach out to support@uLawPractice.com. But any LawPay related further questions, I don't have any questions here on chat. I hope you're all hearing me. I hope the session was helpful for you to understand how everything works with LawPay and uLaw. But please do reach out to us if you have any further questions from today's webinar. I sincerely thank you all for joining in, and I'm sorry as well that I'm not able to do it for a longer time period today. But I promise next week's webinar on Law Society bookkeeping compliance is going to be very, very helpful, interesting, and it's going to be 1 hour long easily. To block your calendars right away now for next Friday, September 16th, 2022, from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be talking about everything that Law Society bookkeeping compliance is going to be needed for your, compliance part of it. So please do register and be there at the time, and for any further information, please email us on support@uLawPractice.com. Thank you all for joining in and encouraging us. The recording link will be available for you to view the recording in a day or two. But if there's anything further, please do email us. Thank you.